Hey guys and welcome. Today we're going to be covering off the story of Remnant 2. It's a bit late to get this video out, but I still think overall it's very much worth it considering how good of a game Remnants 2 actually is. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below if you've played the game, if you've played through the story, or if you're taking a step back and waiting to purchase it at a later date. But I had great fun with it, and the story can be quite difficult to follow with how the game is played out and only having a couple of story-based cutscenes here and there, and the ending being as abrupt as it was. But without further ado everyone, let's dive straight in and explain the story of Remnants 2.
She says, if I wanted to feel sorry for myself, I'd have stayed with your father.
That is quite a drop.
The story of Remnants 2 starts in a post-apocalyptic world, one taken over by a corruption of some sort. And we start by looking at the perspective of two characters. One is ours, and the other's our companion. We jump down from the rusty train and almost die immediately. However, as we continue on, our companion looks to be injured with something that looked like a root growing within her arm. We've been on a long journey, looking for a place called Ward 13. This place, by the way, was only spoken about in stories and tales here and there, but it sounded too good to be true, and too good of an opportunity to pass up on, so it was kind of a risk for us to travel this far looking for it. As we progress through the depths of the city, we can see that there's this thing called Deadwood that's completely taken over the underground and even above ground as well. However, we become overrun, and just as we thought that it was all over, we braced for a sure death. But then... someone, froze all of the monsters mid-fight. In comes two people, both utilising powers to save our lives. However, we need to get moving immediately, and straight on to Ward 13. The girl that saved us used the last of her strength to save us, and throughout, we learn more about them. Here we learn that these two are in fact from Ward 13, and it is a real place. But we need to find a way out of this underground tunnel. It's here that we find our friend, still don't know their names by the way, has something called root rot going down her arm. It was progressing extremely quickly, and it was one of the worst cases that our new friends had seen in a long time, and we need to get her an antidote ASAP. We finally make it to Ward 13, with our seemingly nameless companion on our shoulder. Here we meet Wriggler, the Ward 13 doctor who takes her away and tries to give her the antidote to save her life. Here we also find our saviours' names. One is called Clementine and Bo. Bo Ward is the mayor of Ward 13, and Clementine, well, is a relation of someone named Ford, who is the overall overseer of this place. Ford wanted our help. We moved to speak with Ford, and he mentioned that he was expecting someone's arrival, not knowing that it was us specifically, but knew someone would be here. But Ford needed our help. He asked us to meet him near the gate of the ward, and that's exactly what we do. We enter the tunnel, closing the vault door behind us, and make our way through the tunnel. This place used to be a cutting-edge research facility. They used to research and look into the usage of a series of glowing red stones. However, they didn't know what these stones were, or what they were capable of until it was too late. These are called world stones, and let you see into other realms, and even travel to them. This game seems to be based in a time where we, presumably the US and the Soviets, are at war, and they didn't just want to hide these stones away in hope that the Soviets hadn't found their own yet. No, they had to know everything there was to know about these stones, try to master them before anyone else could, to give them the upper hand and the advantage. So, they opened the world stones, walked through them and into these realms. However, after a series of runs to and from this world into the worlds beyond the stones, nothing could follow us back to Earth, to reality. So it was safe in that regard. Although they thought. and this is what's plagued the entirety of the earth to this date, and it's something called the root. This followed them back through the stone, whether that was via infecting a person or just leaking through a portal, and it started the beginning of the end, not just for Earth, but for the entirety of the realms beyond the World Stone. We enter a doorway and see in front of us part of the World Stone. Every shard of the stone is as useful as the whole thing itself. However, this one in particular was shut down once the project lead Hardguard had died. The computer system to activate the stone was without power as well. However, Ford pulls out a metal cube from his pocket, which emits some form of glowing light. As Ford approaches the stone, it begins to pulsate a red glow, and it rises from the ground and activates right in front of us.
Holy shit.
So many years. So many journeys.
Ford approaches and becomes curious. Did the man that touched the stone as a teenage scientist all come back, or is a part of him still beyond the stone? Ford turns to us, tells us to inform Bo to bury this place, use explosives and destroy the crystal at all costs, prevent anyone from getting to it, ensure that no one can ever get back into this facility and use this crystal. Ford walks towards the stone, touches it with his hand, and he disappears.
Ford? Ford! Oh man. Bo is gonna be pissed.
However, without us knowing, spying on us was Clementine. Clementine was also curious and wondered how to use the stone and if she too could go beyond and see the other realms. However, when she touched it, a voice.
The utility is required. Commencing acquisition.
Clementine was pulled into the stone by something too strong for us to outstrength.
I'm slipping! Somebody take me!
Clementine!
However, we had no choice to jump in after her and figure out what the hell had just happened.
Oh shit! Oh, no, no, no. Don't do it! Don't you do it! Oh, this is so stupid.
We finally find a way to return back to Ward 13, and there was Bo. He didn't think we would have made it, and we fill him in on the information. But we need to progress through the world and find Clementine. Where was she? How did she get from Earth to these other realms, and which realm was she in? Here we enter a place called Labyrinth, with a giant eyeball floating with what looks like Clementine sitting behind it. Just as we were about to be attacked and probably killed, Clementine called off the attack when she knew that it was us, and we slowly approached. We tell Clementine that we're here to find her and to bring her home safe. However, along the way, we found something called the Index, and a segment for it. This was found when killing a boss before we got to Labyrinth. This eyeball thing was called the Keeper of all realms within the World Stone. The place we're in right now is called Labyrinth, a place between worlds, one that connects the different worlds and is essentially the foundation of each realm. The Keeper protects all the worlds from the root. The segment that we found is a failsafe. It's an index. Before, there was no outcome of stopping the root, only attempting to contain it. But we need more of these segments to repair this index if we're going to have a chance of completely getting rid of the root. But what about Clementine in this situation? When we're gone, what is she going to do? She must remain here. The corruption tears at the seams, and she must help ensure that it does not progress any further, especially into Labyrinth. So we need to travel across the realms and find the rest of these segments in order to fully rebuild the index and stop the root for good. We traverse around the different realms, finding the missing segments and taking out bosses along the way. Each realm slowly becoming taken over by the corruption, the root. This was spreading quicker than we thought, so we need to return back to Labyrinth and hand over the index. It was here that we walk up toward Clementine and the Keeper, and everything's completely different. One more segment of the index is needed in order to complete it, and there we see Clementine floating, concentrating hard, not saying a single word. Clementine's power stabilizes the realms that aren't yet lost to corruption. The bond between the Keeper and Clementine is deepened over time, and she's even referred to as remarkable by the Keeper. We asked the Keeper why it kidnapped Clementine, but we didn't get too much of a response from him as to really why. But in short, because of Clementine's power, the one she used to save our lives at the beginning of the game, she was required to save and stabilize the system and preserve the worlds and all of the realms within the World Stone. It could no longer be done on the lonesome of the Keeper, so when she got close, her power was sensed, and then she was pulled in. There was only one final realm to visit to complete the index, and that was called Neyrud. We eventually take out the Guardian of Neyrud, and at that point, we had everything that we needed, so we returned back to Labyrinth to complete the index. However, when we returned, things were different.
It is I, Anomaly. You have done well. Clementine's trust is well founded.
Clementine and the Keeper were different. The Keeper now had a bodily form, but explained more about the root and how it got out of control. This wasn't the first time the corruption posed a threat and corrupted the system. Containment was the most efficient response previously, to preserve the irregularity for later inquiry. However, it festered, it grew beyond the Keeper's sight, and corrupted the core. Even then, the corruption still could have been contained. However, the Destroyer killed the realm's guardian, resulting in it to fester out of control. The labyrinth became unprotected, and with the Keeper trying to fend off the corruption of the other realms, well, he struggled to keep this realm at bay. The Destroyer was a conduit, meaning it spread unchecked across the core to countless other realms. The Keeper purged Labyrinth, expunged realms after realms, seeking to restrain the rot, but it was too late. The system was beyond repair. The Keeper was too late. However, we now have a solution, but not a solution that can be carried out by the Keeper, but one to be completed by us and Clementine. Maybe that was the intended design all this time, set up by those during the researching days. Only an anomaly, a human, can activate this failsafe, the index. This reminds me so much of Halo. The corruption is everywhere, but it originates from a single realm, a single source. When the corruption spread to Labyrinth, the doors to many of the realms were shut even to the Keeper, and inaccessible even to this day. However, with the index, we can now get around their defences and get into those realms to stop the root and purge the corruption. We make our way through to the very end, and finally, it's time. We meet with Clementine and the Keeper. However, there was a shield blocking the door.
Guess we're doing this the hard way.
Wait! It won't work.
Anomaly,
did it. We're here. This is our one chance. If we stop the root here, it's done. For good.
Corruption eradicated.
I can break the shield. But it'll take everything I've got. I'll be powerless. All right. Once we do this, there's no turning back. Either you win, or
Say it.
it's the end of everything.
Anomaly. Your chance of success is greater than 0. I was attempting to reassure you.
Yeah, thanks. Very comforting.
Come on. Let's do this. Are you ready?
I got this.
You must hurry.
Hey! Traveler! Kick some ass for me.
The boss fight took me and my friend Tom, shout out to Tom by the way, for us getting through this. It was an absolute nightmare. The Warminator on screen you'll see, and he's probably watching this video, so big shout out to you Tom for playing through this one with me. But it got to the point where we were probably an hour and a half into this. I almost lost my head multiple times, even uninstalled my game at one point. But it's revealed the source of the root. A giant tree monster. However, once we destroyed the source, it wasn't staying dead. This was what they feared the most. It can't be destroyed. It's too far gone. Containment is no longer viable. There's only one outcome left.
Hey! There's gotta be a way! What are we doing here if there isn't a goddamn way?
Only 2 outcomes remain. The corruption consumes us all. Over.
Keep! What's going on? Why isn't it staying dead?
The corruption is inviolable. Containment is no longer a viable option. The only outcome left is annihilation.
The only option is to start over. Erase space and time as we know it. Everything, everyone, completely gone. But then Clementine turns to the Keeper, stares at the index, and shouts, "There's another way."
On me!
Clementine!
Clementine grabs the index and drops to her hands and knees as the Keeper rises into the sky, and the index begins to slowly erase people. all of the people we've spoken to along the way, everyone at Ward 13, their souls have now been moved and transferred into this index. The same with all the worlds and everything inside as well. Rather than erasing life itself, which seemed to be the only option here, Clementine decided to use her power to save the people of this world and the world itself, the blueprint of the world, and transfer everything as we know it inside this index, which potentially means at one point in the future it could be reopened potentially, but we'll have to see in DLC. But that is going to be it for the story explained of Remnants 2. It is a fairly short game. I think it took us about 13 hours to play through the entirety of the thing, which wasn't too bad really, and I did enjoy it. I really enjoyed the gameplay. I liked the idea of like having a Souls type game with weapons. It just really appealed to me, and I had a great fun playing through it with my friend Tom as well. So we absolutely smashed it, so I'm absolutely over the moon with it, to be honest. I'll definitely be jumping back into this for DLC and playing it just generally to unlock new gear sets and stuff. But of course, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. What did you think of Remnants 2? Do you like the story? Did you like the gameplay? Did you like the mission and the level design, the looting and stuff like that? Let me know everything, your thoughts and opinions down below. If you made it this far into the video, comment down below Remnant. Comment it down below. It'll be on screen now. Comment that down below so I can see who made it this far into the video. It'd be very much appreciated. And thank you everyone for your support. But we'll see you guys next time.